Welcome to Packaging for Mac Admins. So this is the tech session 3. So welcome everyone and thanks everyone for joining on Saturday. Okay, so we'll start with the introduction about our community. So we started this community in 2009 in a Google group, but it was not much active because in 2009, we had very less Mac admins in India. We had only service providers, but like not any corporate or enterprise Apple admins. So it was not so active. But slowly it started increasing. So WhatsApp became famous. Became popular. So we decided that we'll migrate to WhatsApp on 21st December 2020. Sorry, it's 2022. Sorry, I think it's 28. So 22. So few of the guys were already there in line. We decided, they also had a separate group. So we all thought like we'll all join together and make it as a one group. And that's how we started in 2022. And then so Telegram became popular, and in Telegram we had some advantages of creating multiple topic, and people can view the previous messages so that they even can search for the previous messages. So we moved into the Telegram group on 17th Jan, and we were like around some 120 when we moved into the Telegram. And currently we are 310 members. I mean, now we are 330 in last 3 days members in Telegram group, and we also in our Mac admins Slack group. So I hope most of them are, aware of the Mac admins global Slack. So we are not much active there, but I would recommend in future that we'll slowly, get all our people start chatting in the Mac admins Slack, because it has like 60,000 members and 5,000 active members, and you will get answer to all the Mac related things in the Mac admin Slack. So you have channels for each and every separate app you are using in the Mac world, including a VPN application. It can be a security application. So I would be like, I would recommend everyone slowly start looking on it, and maybe you can even start, asking questions there. And it's a global community, so it's really nice, and you get answer to everything you go there. So that's the Mac admins India, and whoever is here is not part of the Telegram group. There is a QR code in the corner. You can scan it and join there. And this is the timeline. And so I'm going to the next slide. Okay, so we can start with our session, guys. So first, I want this session to be interactive. So can anyone tell me what is a package in the general terms?
Basically which contains the source codes or the source files for our application.
So package which contains objectives, it could be a certificate, application, or script, or any object which required to be deployed on the Mac fleets.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's correct. So package is a file which contains, it can have apps, files or folders, configuration files, scripts, or anything which will be installed on a Mac based on the information provided by us. So it is simple that it's going to just drop the files or folders into the location we specify in the information, right? So that's a simple term, and we can use the scripts to modify that behavior slightly, and do some post configurations or pre-configuration while doing the while installing the package. And all the packages in Mac currently are .pkg format, and previously it used to be .mpkg, but I think now we have come out of mpkgs because we have now gone into the flat package. And every package contains mainly two items. One will be the payload, and the next will be the installation script. It's not mandatory that both should be available. There are chances that only payload can be there, and then only scripts without a payload is also possible. So payload is an archive of all the files. I mean, that is the archive of all the files you want to install on the device, which is like a source. And it also contains a BOM, which is bill of materials, where we tell them that where to install this file and what permission it needs to be installed. So that will be in the payload, and then the installation script will be like you can have both which can run before the payload is getting installed on the system or after the payload is getting installed on the system. So which is called pre-install and post-install script. And installer method, there are like multiple ways to install the GUI method. Is one is the installer application, and the second is the command line, the installer command line. So any questions here, guys, on this? If not, I'll go to the next slide. Okay, so in the enterprise deployment world, we mainly use packages to mostly deploy the apps on the devices and configure the apps. So here we are just going to see what are all the app source, right? I mean, where do you get all the apps from? So there are three places mainly. One is like Mac App Store. Currently now, like most of them use Mac App Store. And if you have an MDM solution, you can integrate VPP, volume purchase program, with Apple Business Manager, so that you can deploy the Mac App Store directly onto the clients. And we can also capture the Mac App Store application and deploy it if suppose you do not have the Apple Business Manager account, but which is not the recommended, but it can be done if suppose you have a small environment where you do not have the Apple Business Manager. So you can use, you can even capture the Mac App Store apps and deploy it. And the second will be like apps in the DMG. So you go to most of the apps, you go and download it. It will be the .app file inside a .dmg file. Example, like you download the Google Chrome, you download Firefox, or most of the apps. I can say like most of the Mac apps will be in a DMG. When you open a DMG, it will have an .app file which you will drag and drop to the applications folders. And the last option will be the vendor installer packages, where the vendor, the software vendor themselves will give us a, they'll themselves give us a .pkg, which can be directly installed or directly deployed through the MDM solutions. And so apps in a disk image we need to capture, or we can do drag and drop. But vendor installation packages we can use as it is, or we can do a snapshot method to identify what all the applications or what all the files going to get installed on the system, and then we can package based on it. Excuse me. So going to the next slide. So installer applications. Sorry guys. So any package you open on a Mac, it will be opening in an installer application. So and that is located, that will not be in the applications folder. The installer will be located in the /system library core services. And I don't know how many of you guys noticed it. When you open a file and go to the installer, file menu and click show files, it will show you all the files which is going to be installed through this package. So you can even view the files going to be installed on the system before even installing the package completely. And we can also see the installer log in Windows. You go to the window menu and click installer log, or the shortcut key will be Command L. So it will show you a window which will give you line by line log of the packages being installed. And you can even filter the logs based on show errors or show errors in progress and show all logs. So if you see a failure, it will give you a clear information on why it is being failed. And the last, suppose you don't see it here, you want to really go and review what a log, what was the previous package, logs of the previous package. You can go into the var/log/install.log to review the all the packages installed on your computer. Any questions on these two slides, guys? I'm just rushing through this because we'll do a demo session a lot.
So Karthik, this installer log, when do we use it? Like as soon as the installer opens, and from there we can press Command L and view the logs. By pressing next, we can see the line by line progress.
Yes. So you click next, it will give you what has happened next. So once you give the authentication, it will give you. So it will be like a console log, but inside the installer window itself. I don't know, many of them might have used it, but like even I was like, show files is something new that many of them might not know, but installer log is something common that most of them uses.
Okay.
So then next is the installer command line.
So I just have one question. So that installer log and that install.log from the console app, both are the same?
Yeah, both are the same. So the install log, yeah, both are the same. You can open even the install log parallelly, it will have the same entry what you have there.
Okay, from the console application. Okay.
Yes, from the console. So the installer will just show the install log of that particular package you have opened, but the install log will show the whole history, even the previous application log, or if suppose there is a package installing in the behind by an MDM, it will still show there.
Yes. Okay.
So installer command line. So this is something interesting. So it is in the user bin location, user bin, user S bin, and I mean many of them might be aware that you can use man installer to check the manual page. So like just for information, so the manual pages are really excellent. I love reading through it, and I recommend everybody who are really learning or into this world. When you see a command, when you're running it, might be before or after running it, I would recommend getting into the man page and see what are all the options you have and what it exactly gives. It will give you a very clear description on the use case of the command line. So this installer command, this installer command requires a sudo privileges, because all the it requires a sudo privileges, and this is the simple syntax of it. So installer -pkg and path to the package -target and then the slash. I think slash is the root volume, so you can even customize where you want to install it, and path to package is your .pkg. And also all the device management tools like Jamf or Kanji or Intune all will use this particular installer command to deploy a package. So this is what will happen in the behind. So which means like if your package is silent when you're running it through a command line, then it means that it's going to be deployed even with the MDM solution without any prompt, or it is going to be silent. So you can reproduce or you can test it before you upload a package into the Jamf or other MDM tools. And we have multiple flags there. -verbose you can use. So verbose is the same, like it will give you line by line logging, which will be a verbose logging. And suppose you have an package signed, but it got expired. And for some testing, Apple or generally we would not recommend installing an expired certificate package onto the computer. But for some testing, someone wants to really do it, they can use allow untrusted. Okay, and then you can use -pkg info to really check the information of the package. And the last one is apply choice changes XML. This is the important flags, but there are multiple flags into it. This apply choice changes XML, will go a little deep into this later. So this is mainly to if you have a 5 component in a package, for example, Cisco AnyConnect, I think like a lot of people might be using it. You will have few applications of Cisco AnyConnect where you can customize only the VPN, the secure mobility client should be installed, but you do not want to have the other installed. So that all will be customized using the choice changes XML. Okay, so any questions here, guys? Okay, so I'm going to the next slide.
I have one question from the. So for the sudo installer -pkg, then that path to package, should I mention the path of the package where it's contained, maybe the download folder, or just the app.app name?
It's a package, right? So we are talking about an installer. So app will be only drag and drop. So app is a direct app where you can launch it and you can use it, right? We are talking about an installer packages where you create a package out of that app and deploy it through the MDM solution. Or if you're getting a package directly from the vendor and you want to install that on your computer.
Okay, then it's the path of that file. Path of that file. Okay.
Path of the package file. Path of the package file.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Clear now.
Okay. So we do a package and we get a package, but we really want to understand what is there in the package and what all the things this package is going to do on a computer, right? We can install it and check, but even installing, you will not. You might not. Sorry. So you can install that and check, but you'll not be comfortable installing it before even knowing what is going to be there on your computer, right? So there are some tools available to review the packages. So one tool is the inbuilt the command line tool, which is called pkg util, which can query and manipulate macOS installer packages and receipts. So I'll just show this command line in the demo, but that is one. And the second is a tool called Pacifist. So Pacifist is a very good tool. It's a shareware. You can use it for free, or if you feel contributing, you can contribute it. But it's a shareware where you can, it's a very, I love the tool mainly because I use a lot. You just drag and drop any package into it. It will give you a clear, picture on the hierarchy of the package. And then on the other tab, it will give you what are all the scripts going to be installed. And also it will give you the, information, the package information, everything there. So yeah, I'll also show demo of that. And then and one more tool is suspicious package. And this is also a very nice tool to do the same job where you can, um, view the package. And both of them will also allow you to install a package. For example, like you have like 5 components in a package, but you want to just install a particular component and check, this gives you an option for it. So we'll see this both demo later. So any questions here on reviewing the package? So how many of you guys really use this pacifist or suspicious package? Anyone here who used it or who never used it?
Yeah, I use suspicious package.
I am using
suspicious one I used.
Okay.
I guess
Yeah,
everyone is
suspicious.
suspicious.
Okay. Sorry, like I think suspicious is a little new, so I went to the legacy, so that's okay. Fine then. Yeah, then I will go to the next. The packaging tools. So we are going to talk about few packaging tools, and yeah, there are many packaging tools, but we are going to talk about more common or popular. The first one is always Composer. It's a very easy packaging GUI tool. We have a very good guide from Jamf called Composer User Guide. Composer is the same name even down the line when I started in my career in 2008 or 9. And I started learning only by going through the Composer User Guide by Jamf. Okay, so Composer, and then you have another package called another tool called Packages. It's a it's Packages. It's done by Stephen Sudri from Paris, I think. So that's very nice, and that gives you option to create a simple package, and also to the complex level where you can customize the distributions, like adding your logo to the installer packages, like the way you launch a Microsoft or Teams. You can see the Microsoft logo in the installer, so you can do that all with the packages. Package Maker. I think Package Maker I think Apple stopped developing it. It was the Apple's own product for doing packages, but I think Apple stopped developing it. But I don't know whether it's still available, but it is part of the developer tools. We used to use this before. And then the fourth is the Package Build, which is an inbuilt command line tool where you can build the OS installer component package from the disk, from the device itself. And the last is the Product Build. Product Build is a product archive where you can just package an app file, and this product archive can directly be used even into the Mac App Store, suppose if you are shipping it to the Mac App Store. And the last one is Monkey Package. Many of them who use Monkey or might be using Workspace ONE will know what Monkey Package is. So Monkey is a tool, deployment tool, open source tool developed by Greg Neagle from, I think, Walt Disney. So it's a very robust tool for deployment. It has you have a lot of features in it, but I don't know many of since it's open source, I don't think it's many of us might be used it, but like if you guys have time, you can set up your Monkey and you will understand you have a lot of features in it. So any questions on, and there are other tools like Quick Package, Luckage. I think Luckage is dropped. No, not sure. So any other questions here, guys? Okay, I'm going to the next. Okay, so we came with the packaging tool. So next thing we need to do is we need to really gather the requirements for a package, right? So as I told, package contains payload and scripts. So we need to, before doing a package, we need to understand what payload we need to be installed on the system. And suppose if you require any customization, then you need to think about doing a pre-install and post-install. scripts, and we'll think about scripts. So I know that many of them might tell that I not started scripting, but the package scripting, I'll show you one or two scripts now, but it's very easy. So I'll just show you the way I follow, which will be that's how I learned scripting. I'm going to the next slide. Yeah. So any question till then? Okay. So basic commands in the script. I mean, since we talked about the script before, so this will be the few commands we will be frequently or more often using it in the packaging script. One is defaults command. I think how many of you guys use the default command?
Yeah, I used it.
Okay. I see only two hands. Okay, Manoj, fine. So defaults command is a command to access the macOS user default system. So user default system might not be guys might feel tough to understand, but we'll talk it in a very, we'll put that in a very simple term. Defaults command is a command line tool used to access the proper plist files. Sorry guys, I have a bad cold for the last few days. So default commands, you can any plist you have on your system, if it is a XML plist, you can use the default command to access. And mostly everybody might know, if not also, most of our applications on macOS stores their configuration in the plist file. So the defaults command we'll use a lot when you do a packaging. Okay, and then the second is chmod. It's change file mode or access control list. So macOS is an Unix-based, Darwin, and we know that it works the backend is completely on, Unix. So Mac completely relies on the permission. So if suppose you mess up with a permission on a package or a file, that's not going to work. Okay, so when we are deploying a package, we need to make sure whatever we package, we deploy, whatever the content or whatever the files you deploy has to be installed with the right permissions. If that permissions are not right, that might, I'll not say it will not launch, the application might launch, but it might not, work the way it has to. The functionality might differ. So simple example I can tell you on that is, if suppose you package an application and you deploy it with some permission like root wheel, it might stop people from auto updating the app, because a root will not have the users, even if they are an admin, they will not have an access to update the app. So chmod is really important, and same like chown, change file owner. So chmod talks about read, write, execute, I mean the file modes, and talks about the changing the file ownership, like who is the owner and what group this file belongs to. So we'll also, I'll also show you that, guys. And pkill is search and kill running process. So why it is here is, sometimes when you are doing a package, you want to kill the previous version and then want to install the newer version. So we might use pkill and xattr. It is to manipulate, display, and manipulate the extended attribute. So how many of you guys know about xattr? Guys, at least, raise your hand. So, okay. I see only 6 hands up. Okay. So can anyone tell me where exactly we can, find that xattr attribute? I mean, how will you know that this file has an extended attribute? Can anyone tell me that?
If the gatekeeper is it's blocking for the application, so we can use this xattr to remove that gatekeeper.
Yep.
I think in the terminal, like if you type xattr and drag and drop the app, it will give you uh, the list of the files. Just like for example, it will give you the files like com.apple.quarantine or something. So we need to
Quarantine
remove
bit.
that. Yeah, we need to remove before packaging. to deploy it.
Yep.
Otherwise, it will
Okay.
cause issue.
Yep. So to simple. So if you download an app from an internet, might be you consider Google Chrome or Firefox, any FileZilla or any app, when you try to launch it for the first time, it will give you an dialog that a small prompt telling that this file is downloaded from so and so place by this time. Do you want to open it? Right? And that is also an extension attribute. And why we need this in the package script sometime. For example, when you take that file and directly deploy it to a client unknowingly by packaging it, that quarantine bit will still be in the app, and when users are trying to launch, they will get that prompt. And if suppose you guys are not allowing an app, which if you guys are blocking it, the gatekeeper, where you don't allow all the apps to open, users will end up not able to use the app. So it will just tell them that close. It will tell that it's downloaded, it's blocked, and you can only close it. So it's better that when you are deploying it through the device management solution, it's better that you clear off the quarantine bit so that users don't get the prompt or prompt when they are launching the app after the deployment. So that is where we'll use XATTR. Okay.
Yes.
And the next,
Developer app,
yeah.
like when you download from any internet source,
Mhm.
give that pop-up message.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So you can clear that off when you're packaging it. So CP and ditto, so both almost same copy directory hierarchy. Sometimes you want to copy a file. When the package is being installed, you will use this in the script. And then MV, so many of them know for a rename and move, cut, Unix has only one command. We can use, one command, which is MV. So any questions on these command lines, guys? This will be the most, often commands you'll be using it. Okay. Okay, now we'll come to the application configuration. So all the Macs, not all, most of the Mac apps settings will be stored as a plist files, and there are chances that it can be a .config file or .json file and text files. But more often it will be the plist files, and the location of the plist file will be the user library preferences, or it can be in the root library preferences, or it can be sometimes in the library application support or the root library application support. And if the app is a sandbox app, it can be in the library containers. So I'm not getting into what is mean by sandbox app, but you can refer the developer Apple to understand what is mean by sandbox now. And then you can even put a configuration on for an app through the config files through the MDM as well. Any question here? So packaging. So mostly we'll start into it. So when you do a packaging, there are a few things you need to consider. One is if it is just an app deployment, it's very easy. But sometimes you want to, I can tell about why existing users. Okay. So in our environment, what we do is we want a manual, which is a VPN guide manual. Sorry, guys. To be installed on all the desktops. Okay. For example, when you're giving a laptop, they need to know the VPN manual. So I want the VPN manual to be on all the desktops. So what we can do is we can have a package created in a way that it will be installed. Suppose you have a laptop, we have a Mac which will be used by 2-3 people. Then 2-3 users, we can use a loop template to check what are the existing users and copy the file to the new users. But if suppose users might be getting created after you install the package, so which means future users, right? So we have something called user template, which is system library user template, where you can copy this file so that whenever a new user is created after your package is installed, they will have their file created copied on their desktop. So with this, especially with the user template, we need to be a little careful, and I would recommend avoid using this in future, because Apple might bring in system library user template into the system integrity protection, but I think it's accessible till Sonoma. So just for information. So the alternate way for doing it is using a login script. So whenever a new user logs in, you can put a script to create it. So this is what this is just like the consideration, but we will see one loop script application, but for more details you can refer internet or you can reach out to me. Any questions here, guys? Okay, going to the next. Okay, I think so. Composer. So just snapshot method. We have multiple methods like snapshot, drag and drop, reinstall, repackage the installer package. We'll anyway going to see this demo, so I'm just going to the next. And then installation choices. I think we'll go to the demo and we'll come to the installation choices. So installation choices is what we spoke about, right? So if suppose you have an office, so when you have an office package downloaded from the portal.office.com, it will have all the office packages in it, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, everything. So if you feel like, in any use case, say example, right? You feel like I wanted only Word to be installed. I do not want Excel to be installed. Or sometimes some of them do not want OneNote to be installed on their environment, right? So they can use this choices XML and make sure that it doesn't get installed at the time of doing it. So you can use the installer command line to show the choice changes XML. I think I have a package which you can show how it looks. And you can, once you see the XML, you can customize the XML with, multiple values. Like, if you give installer -show choice XML-package, path to the package, it will give you an XML file. So you take that XML file and you go into each package identifier and you can choose choice attribute, enabled, visible, or selected. So based on this attribute settings, that particular package will be installed on the devices when you deploy it. So I'll just show you this. I'll not might feel confusing. And once you have that XML, you copy paste that XML into a separate file and then apply that XML when you are installing it through the command line so that it only installs the required components onto the system. Okay, so that's all I have on the PPT, guys. So any questions so far before we start into the demo? So shall we get into the demo? So what I'm going to do is I'm getting into the first thing. So because whatever I told you guys that I'm going to show now. So this everybody knows. So installer application, right? Okay, let me share my full screen. Do you guys see my whole screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so let me know if the text is small. I can increase. Okay, so I have a team.
I think it's echoing. Yeah. I could not hear your voice.
How about now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a package called Microsoft Teams downloaded. So I'm going to just double click it. And by default, it will launch with the installer app as we discussed. And this is the installer app. And this app is actually in the system library core services. And just for information, guys, if you really go into the core services, you will see a lot of interesting things because many of them might have not seen. There are a lot of apps which will be coming into, in the dock, but you will not know where it exists. So all those exist in the core services. So for example, contacts, right? Contacts is here. And when you install a printer, you see the printer. So everything is in the core services. Erase assistant. So every app file you see in the dock mostly will be will not be in applications. It will be in the system library core services. So I launched this Teams, and now I'm going to the file and I click show files. So it is going to give you all the files going to be installed through this application. So you see this, right? It has two components in it. One is Microsoft Teams and one is Teams audio driver. And these are all the files going to be installed on the computer. So this is, since it is a big package with multiple models in it, you see this bigger, but we can check this when we create our own package like Google Chrome. It will be very shorter. Okay. So this is what the show file is. And here, if suppose this is a properly signed package, and it will give you the installer certificate ID, but the package we create, and if we want to sign it, yeah, we can sign it with a developer installer ID if you have a developer certificate, developer license from Apple. But for any of the MDM deployment, it is not mandatory that the app has to be signed. It can be an unsigned app as well. So this is that, and then I go here to the window and I choose installer log. It will give you the log like this. And here you can choose only errors, or you can choose show errors and progress, or you can choose all logs. So I'm going to click all logs. So this will give you a full information on what is about it. So I'm clicking a continue. So I'm going to choose install all for this computer. Click continue. And this is what I was talking about, the show choices. I will show you about this. So we can make sure, but when you're deploying it, by default, the teams will deploy both of them, but you can customize that. It can only deploy, it will only deploy the Microsoft Teams. Okay. And I click continue, then yeah, it changed. So it is waiting. It gives you what are all the choices selected. And you click install, it will prompt you. It is asking to close because we are in the Teams, but I'm going to click cancel. But it will prompt you to authenticate and then install it. And you go to the where okay, it's anyway private where log install log. So this is the log. If you see whatever we did there in the installer logo, it will be the same wordings, everything here. But the advantage of this is, you see, this is 2511, 1055. So it will give you even the previous apps installed. So suppose you have a software update that also can be seen here. If it is a package installed on your computer, or if you have any other app, you can see everything here. Okay, this is the install log, which is in the where install private where log install log. So if suppose someone is reaching out to you that the package is not getting installed on the system, or for troubleshooting, you can have them ship this log to you, so you guys can analyze it. Okay, so this is so any doubts here on the installer application or anything else you want me to show here? Okay, I'm going to the command line. So terminal. Yeah, as I said, the first command I would recommend whenever you see is doing a man installer. Okay. Yeah. So it tells that system, software, and package installer tools, and it gives you a very clear information. And we are going to only see few, flags which you might be using it more often. One is the package info. So if you give, I'm going to open one more terminal to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to give installer package info and then downloads Teams, right? Oh, sorry. Yeah, so this will give you some information about it, but there are it depends on the way it's packaged, so it just gives you the choices. But if I go and give the next one is apply show package, show choices is XML. This is what we were looking in. So if you go to the link, so it tells prints to std out the install choices for a package in an XML format. So you go ahead and to export it to an XML. I didn't use this for long. Okay, I didn't give a space here. Okay, yeah. So this is what I was talking about. So which will have a proper XML. And here, if you see, you have multiple attributes here. One is choice identifier. So this is going to be Teams app, and choice is enabled is false, and choice is selected is 1. So which just means this is something which you need to note. So it is 1, and choice visible is false. So you will not be able to change it. So when I launch the app, so you have two here, right? One is child item is Teams app, and then the Teams, and then the Teams audio driver. So when you see here, if you see, you see only the Teams, but you don't see what is inside the Teams. There is one more child item called Teams app that is not seen because it's mentioned the choices, enabled is false and choice is selected is 1. So it will be installed, but it will not be visible because choice visible is false. But you come here, so it is choice is selected is 1 and choice is visible is true. So you see the Microsoft Teams here. Okay. But if suppose you want to, okay, leave the Teams because Teams you cannot modify because we have mentioned it. That's a mandatory thing. But you do not want the Teams audio driver to be installed. So what you need to do is you need to copy paste this plist into the XML file and then change this audio device part into choices enabled into false, and then use apply choice XML to run this with the command line. Then only the Teams app will be installed. And when you are doing this through Jamf, you don't have a direct way. Instead, you need to repackage with the post install script for doing this, because with the Jamf, you don't have a direct way where you can pass the XML to do an apply choice XML. I think Monkey has it, but Jamf doesn't have it. So any doubts here, guys? I mean, anything you need to get clarity here, because mainly you will work on this part with the Cisco AnyConnect package, most of them, if you are using Cisco AnyConnect as your VPN.
But through the configuration profile, can't we make the changes to the plist?
No. This is a package. This is a plist in the package, right? This is plist inside a package. It's not after the installation. It is at the time of installation.
Oh.
Okay. Since
See, you can uninstall.
Yes, go ahead.
No, you can uninstall it after installing it, but when you want to deploy it, like very clean way that you do not want this to be installed even before deployment, then this is the way you need to do it.
So
Can we use package? Sorry.
So we need to like copy this XML file, edit it with a playlist editor or something, and then we have to paste that choices on the XML and then repackage it with the composer. Then we have to deploy.
You are muted.
Okay, it's not audible.
Okay, sorry. So I use Code Runner, guys, but it's licensed, but I like this. I bought a license for it. So, okay, so this will give you a clear XML prompt. So you want to change it, right? Nothing. You just go and identify what is the child item you do not want to be installed. So this is the one, right? Choice is selected. You just change it to 0. Okay. And choice is enabled. You can make it to false. Okay. And even when you are shipping this package as an individual and you do not want this to be even seen here, then make it as false here. And save this file as an XML file. Might be like, I'll put it as Teams custom choice. I'm not going to install it, but I'm going to show you how you apply it. So you have that right now. You have it. Right? So now go to the command line and go installer -pkg downloads Teams. Okay, and apply and copy paste that from here. It is applies choice changes. Okay, and then the path of a file which you created now. Okay. And then where is the target? It will be always like, might be mostly it will be the root volume. See, if I run it as a root, the thing is it will kill my session. But if I run it as a root, as a root with a sudo, then this will only install my Teams. It will not install the audio driver. Okay. Any questions here? Okay. I'll take the silence as no question. So here you will have a question. Normally you should have a question. Okay, how do I do it when I'm deploying it through a, Jamf? How do you do it, right? Because Jamf can directly take this package, but where do you apply a custom XML package here? And that's what I said before. You cannot do it. So instead, you need to create a wrapper package where you put this Teams package into some temporary location and then write a script with this content in the post install script. So first the wrapper will go ahead and install that package into private temp, and you put a installer -pkg, and you also copy that, the XML file there, and you go to the installer -pkg, and then you give the temp path, and then you choose, apply this with this path and give the target. Then it will install only what is required. Okay, there is no way where you can directly pass an XML file with the Jamf to install it. I think that's the same even now. Guys, correct me. Any of the guys who use this with Jamf, correct me if there is an option for passing XML now, but I don't think so. Any questions here, guys? Okay. So we'll go into the simple package. Yeah, tell me something. Tell me something.
No, I have just a doubt. So, if we have package 16.79 Office package, and we know it comes with the msdefender.app also, right? So, and that is not allowed. So, I think we can control that with the configuration profile also. We don't want that MS Defender app to be installed, so we can control that one. So the configuration profile also.
No, sorry. So how are you deploying a package? How are you deploying?
No, it's a raw package from the Mac admins. I'm not touching that package.
Okay, so that package is coming from
Mac admins.
Microsoft, right? Microsoft.
Yeah, I use Mac admin software.
Okay, Mac admin software. Okay, yeah. No, that's fine. Okay, so you are telling before even it will not even allow them to install in that package?
No. If they, it will not. If the configuration profile is present, and if they install from the self-service, MS Defender app will not install. All other apps will install.
Okay, I'll work with you on that if that is something which is possible. But with my knowledge, it was not. Might be like something new, or I need to really see how you are deploying it. See, when you are installing this package, so it might be just done in different ways. See, when you launch this package, this is not even doing anything. Or when you run the command line, it's not even doing anything until you install the package. The configuration profiles might not take effect, but good to know about it. If feel free, write some few lines in our group about that, how we are doing it, so we all can get some idea on it.
Sure, I will paste it. It's just 2 lines only. I will just paste it.
Yeah, please. Yeah, that will be good. Okay. Yeah. Right. So guys, any other question? If not, we'll start with basic packaging with the tool Composer. I'll go through this. Yeah.
Sudhanshu, what is the Office package version that you are using?
16.79.
Okay, because I don't see the Microsoft Defender.app is there on the bundle. which I downloaded from office.
No, I use the business suite actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that has all the apps. Actually.
Understood. Yes. Thank you.
So,
actually, it changes, right? I mean, you download with I mean, some in some package you will have teams
yes.
and some it will not have teams. So yeah, that is like
Yes.
common.
Yeah.
But then so please write that in our group, Sudhanshu. Yeah, Manoj, I think you have a question.
Yeah.
Raise your hand.
Yeah. So back to that apply XML command. So you didn't run that with sudo prefixes because it will change your current package setting, or it's because of our MDM deployment will not work.
No, I'm running teams, and if I run it now, it will kill the teams, right? I do not want. I mean, I don't. I could have tried with some different package, but I didn't think about it. But if I do it now, then immediately it will kill the teams, and then I'll be out of the meeting.
Got it.
So that is the reason I'm not running it.
In our case, we can apply the changes and we can package it. We can use the
package. Yeah, you can try. Yeah, you can
try.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm getting into this. So I'll show you. Okay. So the tools. I want to go. I do not want to get more into this, command line tool. Instead, I'll directly show you guys how the pacifist and suspicious package looks when you open an. So many of them are using suspicious package, so I'll show in the pacifist. But I think suspicious will be better, whatever it's. Yeah, so it is a shareware, so you need to wait for 11 minutes, and it has a command line tool as well. Okay, so I'm going to drag and drop this file. Okay, so you guys see this is the pacifist window. So you have an archive kernel, and it will tell you if your package is signed, and you go in, it will give you what all the things going to get installed. And you slowly navigate one by one, it will give you the default install location as well. So you can understand that this app file is going to be installed on the applications, and it will also tell you what is the owner and group of it and what is the permission. Owner group chown and chmod. And you go here, next bundle, and you go into this. This is a plugin, so it is getting into the library audio plugins, right? So before even you are installing it, you will know what permission it's going to be installed. So even the packages you do it, I would always recommend before deploying it, two things. First is review the package with these tools, and then install it and check it, right? And see and then I get into the package resources. It will give me other informations where first let us get into the package. So there's two packages, and the two packages will have separate scripts. So you can even directly launch the script and see what is the script, and everything you can launch and see post install, pre-install, or if there is any other script in the path, you can see that here. Don't get deep into it, because Teams does a lot of things. So we have multiple script, but mostly whatever V package might not have this much. And again, the same audio driver, it also has a script. The script just kickstarts the the audio com.apple.audio. So you can see that here. And then payload, you cannot see the payload here because your payload is already shown here. This is the payload. Whatever inside the payload is here. And then we have something called distribution. This is the text, and this is where you find all your information of this particular package. So what is your package reference ID? This is the receipt which will be installed on your computer. What is your version of this package? And what are all the bundles, short version it's going to install, and everything. Might be like, for example, if you get deep into it, it will give you the host architecture. Suppose you have only ARM64 here, that package that app will not work with the Intel, right? And it also gives you the so this, you can do a lot of customization in this when you go deep. For example, if you have software, if you open an Apple software, the software update the older ones, if it requires a restart, that information also will be stored here. But Teams doesn't require, so you don't have it. So this is something which and it will tell what is the OS minimum version and all the information related to and what is what is enabled and everything. Okay, so this is pacifist, guys. Any doubt here? Any questions on this tool?
Is this a free tool? Can be installed?
Yes, it's a shareware. It will ask you to wait for 15 seconds before you launch. That's it. It's a free tool.
Will it give all the options?
Yes, all the options. It's just waiting of 15 seconds every time you launch. That's it. Okay. And you have plugins. You have like quick viewer, so you guys can explore that. And then the next is suspicious package. This is again one more tool. So this is okay. So now I'll show you guys XATTR. You see this dialog, right? This is the extension attribute. Extended attribute, sorry, it's not extension, it's extended attribute. So if I go here, okay, I go XATTR and I click give applications, and then I give suspicious package. You see this, correct? This is the extension attribute, extended attribute, and this is what is causing this prompt when you launch it. Okay, so when you deploy, unknowingly what I'm doing is like, when you're packaging it, you just drag and drop and you package this and send it to the user. User will also get the same prompt for them. Okay, which is not a good experience to the user. So what I would recommend is you can use XATTR, and then if you want to clear all the three, you need to use -C. It will clear. Okay, I do not want to be in a hurry even if it is delaying, guys, because it's really. So it's display and manipulated extended attribute. So it has a very less options where, see, it is -D, -C, right? And -D will delete the given attribute and -C will clear all the attributes. So in our use case, I'm going to just delete a particular attribute, which is apple.quarantine, which you will be using a lot. And whenever I deploy an app on our environment, I make sure I add this into all the files and process in the Jam policies. So, even you clear it before packaging it, I would recommend doing it. So it deletes it. Okay, so now I deleted it. Now I'm going in and I launch it. It will directly launch. Okay, so this is the use case of XATTR command. So any questions or any doubt or anything on the XATTR?
So when you delete the XATTR-D, so in case we remove the application and reinstalling, again it will cost the same, or it won't ask?
You're reinstalling it, yes, it will again. Yeah, it will again. Yeah. Okay, let me. It is because this package is still downloaded from the internet, right? So you should have that. Yeah, still, because anyway, it is downloaded from the internet. And then, so last time I just cleared the D, and now I'm going to show you the -C, which will clear all the attributes. So now I go to XATTR, it will not, only one is there, and this is a, I think, mandatory one. Okay, so this is how the XATTR works. And this is the, any question on XATTR, guys?
So these changes should be made through terminal, or we can use any other tool to modify these things?
No, only terminal or through the Jamf. I mean, again, the commands. I mean, as far as I remember, I know it's only command. I don't know if there is any tool.
Okay, understood.
So when we package this, suppose if we package this one, suppose any application which contain this thing, so should we use the process payload to run that command?
Yes. So you can use this. For example, like, I'm deploying a suspicious package to all my devices. So what I do is I will package it into the applications folder, and then I'll go to the files and process in the policy section, and I'll add this so that the users don't get that prompt.
Karthik, can't we run this command and then package it?
Sorry?
English and दिया क्या उसको?
Who is this? Guys,
Yeah.
please be on mute.
Okay, can we run this command?
क्या होगा market से?
Guys.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I think fine.
I was asking, can we run this command and then package it?
Yeah, you can do it. So the thing is always a safe proof, right? Yeah, you can do it. So if you do it, then it should work. But like I have a habit of doing it even after that. So if suppose we forget it, it's the best practice, I can say.
Okay.
Which I follow. So it's up to you guys. Okay, fine then. So suspicious package, I've just, I think it's like a very big topic. I don't know whether we'll be able to finish it in 1 hour. Okay, so this is how the suspicious package looks. It will be a little more UI, good UI, and you see everything first an information package where it will, it will also show if this package is already installed, and then it will tell how many items it is installed, developer ID, if suppose this package is notarized by Apple. So that information also will be there, and it will show you how many scripts it's going to install. So guys, I'm just going to quick overview so you guys can really download and practice on it. So this is how it will look, suspicious package. This is a direct freeware. I think it's a freeware, right? I should not use it wrong. It's, yeah. So you can, it's a mother's ruin software. I think I've given the link in the PPT. So that is the suspicious package, guys. So next, packaging tools. Okay, so I think we can start with the packaging tools. Any questions till now on XATTR or the pacifist and package build? I mean, if I get into this, it will be time. Actually, I wanted to, but I'm skipping this. The same. The pacifist and suspicious almost does everything what pkgutil does, but it can do little more. Like you can just one command I'll show you. If suppose you want to know what are all the application packages you installed on your computer, this will give you all the receipts here. And if suppose I wanted to get a package info and then pass a package, it will wait. Yeah, I think it's a different. Okay, anyway, I'm not getting deep into it. So but that is the package info. It's take the manual pages if you need to learn, but this both should be more than enough. Okay, fine. Then now I'm getting into a composer. So I have a few apps downloaded. So one app I'm going to show you a demo. First will be the I'll go with the FileZilla. Okay, so I downloaded a FileZilla. I launch a composer. So composer, so this is new app. So it is giving the extended attribute quarantine flow. So I'm opening it. So composer requires admin access for packaging it because it can do a snapshot, everything. Okay, it requires a full disk access, and everybody know for what reason, because it needs to really capture the packages from all the location. For now, I'm not giving it. And this is the home page of Composer, guys. So Composer has multiple options, as I shown you before in the keynote. So it has a snapshot. So snapshot, I'm going to open you guys the Composer user guide. So you guys go on, whenever you have time, please read this user guide. This will give you what exactly this new and modified snapshot will do, what will this monitor file system changes will do, and normal. So normal snapshot will only capture any changes that is done to the files, and new and modified snapshot will watch for new files as well as any files modified. So snapshot means, for example, you have a package, or you have a package file or anything, but you really don't know what is the changes that is going to do to your system. For example, you can see in the pacifist, right? So even you see in the pacifist, or when you reviewed the package, you see a lot of scripts in it, and you cannot really know what are all this. You cannot go line by line. Instead, you can directly do a snapshot, and then I didn't install the package, and then again do a snapshot, and understand what are all the packages added to the computer. I think this is there in all the platforms. So to really understand what are all the changes happening to your system, and then capture it. For example, you are doing in Teams and you're installing it, but after installing it, it is giving you multiple prompts, and you do not want all the first prompts. So you need to know where that entry is going, so that you can go ahead and suppress that prompts. So what you can do is you can do a normal or new and modified snapshot to understand what file is being written, and you can go into that file and then identify what keys, and you can customize the app. So you can use normal and new modified snapshot to understand what files are being installed. So it will work in a way like, now I want to do a normal snapshot. I click next. It will ask you a package name, like I'll give a file villa, and I click next. Okay, I'm not doing anything. It will first take a before snapshot, and then it will tell you do whatever changes you guys wanted, and then I go and do the changes to the system, change the settings, do modifications, everything, and then I come back, and then again I click do an after snapshot. Then what from that time till now, any changes, it will not be only the this particular FileZilla related. Any changes happening to your system will be recorded into the snapshot, and it will show you the list of files being modified before and after the snapshot. Okay, new files. But if you use the new and modified snapshot, it will be giving you even the files which are modified. For example, this has gone and modified some common files which is shared with the operating system. It will even list you that. Okay, so this is the new, this is the snapshot method. Guys, any doubt on this? Any questions on snapshot method? It will take some time. So that is because it has to really capture record each and every file on the file system. Okay, fine. So I can open a new window. So this will give you the, draft new pages, really awesome. So this is all the things you can do, and you go to the package source creation, taking snapshot. Okay, so this is what it is. So it takes a before and after snapshot of a file system and creates a package source based on the changes. So this will allow you to monitor the installations on all locations on the device, on the drive. Even you can quit, and then suppose the package requires a reboot. You did a previous snapshot, and you can do a reboot, and then also you can open the composer, and then you can continue the after snapshot. Okay, so this will give you the same thing. It is really straightforward. You can learn a lot. If anyone is new to the packaging, who has a composer access, I would recommend going through this, and then and monitoring the file system. So there's one more snapshot, one more option where it uses the FS7 framework, which to monitor any changes that made to your file system, not the files. Okay, it even goes little more deeper, where it can even understand that what changes have been made to the file system. But this has some limitations where you cannot quit the composer, log in or restart, or sometimes it might miss also. So this is the monitoring the file system. So like in my current talk, I don't do deep packaging, but I used to work for a company called ITC Infotech. I know somebody who will be in this call also might have worked. So there we used to do a lot of code packaging, where they will ask us to suppress each and everything. For example, like when you give them a package, that package should silently install on the system, and the update should be disabled. Check for update should not be enabled. It should be always disabled. And when a user is launching an app, they should not see any prompts. It should directly open an app. For example, when I opened the facilities for the first time, it was giving me a prompt to check for updates and everything, right? They don't encourage it. They tell we use that with it's like a old time imaging. So they use with the image. So they tell when a user launches an app, it should directly launch. It should not give them any open at login window or anything. So when you want to really get deep into it, understand where is that so every time you launch, if an app is asking this, And then, I mean, this cannot be suppressed because this is anyway, we know that it is for license. But when I click not it, see this. This is prompting, right? So whatever I do, it changes here and I click check automatically or don't check. This is an entry somewhere in our files, correct? So this, we need to identify what is that file. Once you know the file, then you can go into the file and understand what is the key or what is the plist or what is the plist value or might be the configuration file value, where you can go and note that and try to find a way where you can pre-add that in the package so that whenever a user launches it, it launches silently. Okay, so that is this snapshot methods will help you a lot on that in that level of packaging. Any questions, guys? I mean, like, I know everybody's silent. I don't know whether it's boring.
No, Karthik. No questions.
Okay, so yeah, snapshot will take time. I should not done it. Let me stop it. Okay. Okay. So now we will get into the very basic packaging. So you have an app file downloaded, and I know when you are on a local machine, you can go ahead and get into the applications folder and then drag and drop, right? But you want this to be shipped to everyone. It can be through Apple Remote Desktop, or it can be through Jamf, or it can be anything, right? And you cannot directly give an app file to them. Instead, you need to have a package or DMG. I'm a guy who always prefers package because DMG is very simple and you cannot do a scripts with the DMG. You need to rely on the scripts from the Jamf policy. It's okay to use there, but when you are doing a real package, that package should also work when you're installing it manually and also when you're deploying it through an deployment tool. So that is actually a right package. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the two ways. So the new one snapshot is done. And the second is pre-installed software. So you suppose you have any software pre-installed there, you can just take it. And you have user environment, guys, please go through it all separately, but I'll go. Okay, so one way you can do is first, you consider this as your packaging mission. I will go ahead and install a package here, and I have installed a package. And now I go here, I can drag and drop the package on the left column, which the icon changes, and I drop it here. Then Composer will create a source. It will exactly copy the path of the package, and it will be the source. And this is copied here. It is not the reference to this. For example, I click here and I go to Reveal FileZilla and Finder. The path of is inside the Composer. Got it? So it is inside. So now I can go ahead and even delete it. Okay, I deleted it. And when you do it, so now you see, right, it has come here. Okay. And I click a build package, I can build it. So it's a very simple method of packaging. But this is not the recommended method because we didn't check many of the things. Okay. So in Composer, you have something called DS-store file, right? I mean, many of them might know this is a metadata file, which will be created with most of the photos, everything, right? So you go to the preferences, Composer preferences. So build flat packages. So now bundle packages are all old flat packages. So I'm not also getting into this. And by default, you have remove DS-store files in common location, but it is only in the common location. So what I would recommend is I would always delete it myself before I even package it. So deleted it, and then go and add an exclusion list if you feel you have any exclusion list. So I see that this is excluded, but still you want to do it. And you want to sign a package, you can even sign a package. I don't have any signing certificate inside, so it's not there. Okay, so this is just for our reference. So here, now I packaged it. But can anyone tell me if I create a package in this and deploy it, there are chances for some permission issues. Can anyone tell me what is that and why is that?
Because
the permission of the applications, you don't find it here. If you see the owner and
the owner lies on your
yes, by account, right? Not account, it's 501. So in the luck, if a computer has a 501 account, I mean some user ID in a 501, and that is their primary account, then this will be converted into the 501. I mean, it will just map to it. But think about the first admin created in a Mac will be 501. I think many of them will be aware, right? And if suppose the first is an IT admin account and you are deploying it to a user, and that means this user will not be a owner of this file and you will have a permission owner. Okay, guys, this is where we'll make a lot of mistakes. I mean, when you really start doing packages, because when I did the first package, I know that I've done like, just read through the document, click build package and deploy it, which is not the right way. So go here, click on it, and best practice for creating, best practice for, recommended permissions for an application file will be root and group will be admin. Okay, so this is the recommended, and 755, which is the owner will have read, write, execute, and the group will have read and execute, and then everyone will have read and execute, and this is better to be 755. If suppose you deploy this package to all the this permission, so this will be into the system with the root admin package. There are some scenarios you need to be, you need to really check here. If suppose you are in an environment where you do not have admin permissions to the users, right? Standard users. When you give this permission, the users will not be able to update the app because they are not part of any. They are not into the root group. Okay, so you need to change the permissions, and that will be little like you need to grab the user permissions and you put a script to do it. But as a basic recommendation, it is always root admin, and I click build package, and I also you go into this, and then you can add a script here if you need, and you go to the settings. If suppose you guys follow a proper bundle identifier something like com dot, we will use our Mac admins India dot FileZilla, and you want to do a bundle versioning, everything. This is the information which will get into the distribution file which we saw in the Pacific. Okay, so it just depends on you. And when you're deploying it, I will recommend always doing it to root volume, and always you need a root authorization. And you go here, and it will also show you what are all the files which is ready for a package, which is going to be included in the package. Okay, and here on settings, scripts, if you want to add a shell script, you can add. You want to add a Perl script, you can add. So it supports both shell and Perl. Okay, and in FileZilla, so I'm now, and you can add a version here. So this will be the file name. Okay, so let me check what is the version of this guy. 366. 3.6.6. Let us keep it. And click build package. Build. So now you are creating a package which can be deployed in the Jav, or even you can send it to the users and they can, install it. So now this is the package which got created. So I'm going to review it quickly before I deploy. I'm opening it. I'm seeing the payload content, and I see the this is going to get into the applications folder, and it's not signed. Yeah, we know that, and it's root admin 755 permissions, and there is nothing inside, and only the distribution we are given, like com dot macadmins.files all fine, and now I can install it. So I can install it manually. Okay, see here, because we are installing it manually, we get this, but when you're deploying it through the tool, you'll not get it. So I can show you that. Sudo installer -pkg FileZilla target -target / See, I don't have an FileZilla installed. I'm going to install it now. Yeah, so this will not give you that, developer, the unsigned error. See this, FileZilla got installed on the computer. So clear here, guys. Any questions? This is the very simple packaging method you can use with the, Composer app. And if you are very new to the packaging, you can start with this.
Yeah, just one question I have. So for all kind of applications, should I remove that .ds store thing?
Yes, right. It's a
Yeah.
metadata. You don't need it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can delete it for all.
Okay.
Yeah.
And recently I had a package request for my organization for this Microsoft Edge browser. So for that, I have just download the package from Microsoft official website and upload it to Gmail. So
Okay.
so should I repackage it through Composer and like
No,
is this to repackage it and then upload it?
no. So see, that's what I mentioned here, right? So when it's a vendor installer package, and before uploading it, make sure you test it with the command line. Okay. Make sure you test it with the command line. Install it on a test machine and check if it is successfully installing it in the command line. If an app is successfully installing on a command line, that means that will be silently successfully installed through Jamf as well. Or not only Jamf, any MDM tool uses this particular command line. So if you're getting a vendor.pkg directly, I better test it through the command line and then you can directly upload it. This one is for all the packages which you downloaded in this case scenario where you get it as an .dmg file like this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now what we are going to do is, I think I'll try to finish off in 5 to 10 minutes. So if you guys really want to, leave, you can leave. But so I'm going to show you. So now the FileZilla is installed, right? But I want to do some customization to the app. Not a heavy customization. I'm going to show you a simple thing. Okay, let us do one thing. I'm going to do this to an CyberDeck because I I had a key open available for that. So let us package a CyberDeck quickly, install it, installed, drag and drop. So again, you can have multiple sources together. So put in CyberDeck in this left. If you put it here, to drop it inside this, it will add it to the package. Okay, so you guys need to make sure you drop it on the left panel and you drop it here. It was created, change it to root admin. And one more thing we missed before, whenever we do it, please provide the permissions to the childs, inherit the permission to the child. So you need to apply the owner group to cyberduck.app and all enclosed item. Okay, so apply this. If not, what will happen is I'm going to show you lsfnlra/applications. In FileZilla, it will be different. FileZilla. See, the content is Karthik staff. Even we changed the FileZilla app here as root admin, but the content was still into the old, owner and group. So we need to make sure we apply owner and group and permissions to content that are all in closed item. So it is nothing but inheriting the permissions. Okay, you need to note this down because sometimes we do that. We'll forget doing it. Okay, so I did it. Build a CyberDuck package. Then wait for it to complete. We're just going to show you a key to just suppress an update. CyberDuck. It's installed, right? So I'm going to launch it. Okay, open. See, I didn't use the extension. I didn't use the. I didn't clear the extended attribute, so you saw that prompt, right? If suppose I deploy this app to this package through Jamf to everyone, this particular, this CyberDeck package, every user is going to get that prompt first time, which is a very bad experience, correct? So please make sure you guys do that xattr delete the quarantine before you deploy the app. Okay, so now I close this. Now I'm opening a CyberDeck, right? So whenever, okay, we talk about the configuration profile. So first place, whenever you install an application, the first place you will need to search for the configuration file will be library preferences, user library preferences. Okay, this will be this. From you go here and you can, search for it. If not, I follow a different, I command line, it's like, use a grub, library, preferences, grub, -I, cyberduck. Okay, so you see this, right? There is a preference file created for that app. Okay, so this is where you want to read this preference file. You can directly open an app, and by default, I have Xcode installed, so it will open in an Xcode, but you can use even text editor. But I'm going to read this through a command which we spoke before called defaults command. And defaults command will by default get into the local user's default system. So you can just give this path. It will show you the content. You do not need to give a full path if suppose it is in the library preferences. The reason because is the command we spoke before, the defaults command, right? The defaults command is a user default system. So by default, it will go there. But if suppose you have it in other location, I mean, I'm just giving it in the same, but you can even do it like this. Okay, so you can use both. So you see that here, right? So these are all the settings. So in the settings, I see I want to, okay, I'm here. Now I go to the preferences like, command settings, and I go here, update. So I see the automatically check for updates in release is enabled. Okay, but I have a requirement that I need either, okay, I do not want the app to auto update because I have a very good standard users, and I want the app versioning to be in my control. I mean, the admin control, IT control. So I want to disable it when I'm deploying it. So when you install this app for the first time and you launch it, that is where, if suppose you don't know where this file goes, I would recommend using the snapshot method. But since mostly it will get into the library, what I will do is I will first time before I package or my packaging mission, I'll try to enable this or disable it, some changes to that, and save it. And then now I'll go to the defaults read system. So I mean, if we don't have time, so I'm not giving this option to you guys. So if someone noticing that there is a change in a file regarding an update on this file after I did a change?
It's automatically changed.
See here, no, actually it's a
update
bug
check
here.
is
I mean,
twice, right?
yeah, no, this one is wrong actually. I don't know why. Actually, this resembles the same like auto update, right? But for some reason, this CyberDuck is not encouraging it. Instead, it is creating an key called update.check equal to false. Okay, this type of keys will not be there unless you go ahead and manually change it and then come back. But now I'm going into the update. Now I'm going to the update. I'm going to check this. Now this will not get deleted. It will show us true. But for this key to populate, whatever settings, so it is always recommended like whatever settings you are trying to manipulate or configure it, I would first go to the GUI and do that all and then check the plist file, then you will have it. So now we have one more settings called so I have another scenario in another environment where I want it to be always, it should automatically download and install the update. So for that, I check this and I close it and then I come back. It's instant update. You see this, right? It created a new key called update check auto. Okay. So this is how you configure it. And this will be same for in some app, even the first option, right? Like, the first run dialog, which will be like, I'll show you that might be fair type. But for now, I'll go with these two keys. So now I have this created update. I have it enabled. Now I'm going to run a command line to disable it. So what I need to do is defaults, write is a key to write, and I'm going to put this here, and then I'm going to copy paste the key from here. Okay. And I'm going to do, let us first do this. And then space and false. So we know that this was, both of them are selected, right? So now anyway, I'm going to quit it and I'm going to make it as false. Right? Okay, it's false now, and I'm going to ensure it is false, and it is false now. And I open a CyberDeck now. Okay, so it's still open. You go to the settings, update. You see this, right? This got disabled. It will be the same if I change the. Okay. Close it. Go again to settings. Okay, that's what. So we need to quit and launch for the preference to take effect when you are doing an. See this. This is unchecked. So now we know what is the key and what is where to write the file, everything, right? Now we need to incorporate this into the script. Okay. Go to the composer. Sorry. See how many of them are there. Oh, almost 10 people. I think it's already time up. So, okay. This is the last thing I'm going to show because I don't think we have enough time. So post shell script, you go to the post install script. Okay, and you have it here. Okay. See, whenever a package is being installed manually, or if it is installing through any MDM solution, that is going to be installed by a root user. It's not going to be installed with an current user. So doing this will only add an entry into the root user. It will not add an entry to the current user. Okay, so there are multiple ways to do it. We can use a loop template script, but I'm going to show you a very basic command code runner. Oh, I don't have it. Let me look. I'm copying it from my other system, guys. Okay. So what we need to do is, we need to identify who is the user who is currently logged in on the computer, right? So there is a command. There is an normally my copy paste used to work and it's not working now. Okay. Okay, I'm just put this on. Okay, so this is the command. Command line way to get who is the logged in user, even if you are running this in the root context. Okay, so you have like a lot of documents to refer these guys. I would recommend going through it. And now what we need to do is defaults, right? Okay, now pass the full path. So the full path will be /users and the user will be $current user, the variable, because that is, so everybody knows, right? This file means it is the full path of this file is user, my local current logged in user, and library preferences. This is what we are going to do now. So we are going to put here default, right? And then do the same thing. Sudo cyber update check false or true. Now we are in false, right? So let me enable it as true. Okay, so this script will go to the current, it will get the current user and it will write that value here. And if suppose that file, for example, you are doing it for the first time, you will not have this file created on the computer, right? So this will automatically create it, even if you don't have it. And then when you're writing this file with the sudo, the permission of the file here is important. It is the current logged in user, and then the staff, and then it is only user has a full access. When I package this and install it on the computer, this will install and even the file will be created here, but the permission will be root and wheel because this script will be deployed on a computer from the MDM tool, and the MDM tool deploys always as a root. So what we need to do is we need to change the owner using a command called chown, and you know who is the current user. Current user will be the current user, and then you see the group here, right? Staff. So it will be staff and then pass this path. So you're going to deploy, create a file, and then change the permission of the file. And the mod will be 755 whenever it is getting deployed. So you guys, like, if you really want to understand 7, what is 7, what is it's 44, you need to really check the Unix permissions, but like I'm just going to put, so 7, it is R will have a value of 4, W will have an R value of 2, and execution will have a value of 1. So I'm going to do 600 and then again a path. Okay, now this is enough. Now you have a package which has a script which will suppress the update whenever it is deployed through Java, for even you install it manually. So to show that now we have marked our post install as true, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this. No, we'll mark it as false because I'm going to delete and show. I'm going to show as a fresh mail, right? So I need this to be false. Okay, and I'm enabling it, closing it. There's a package, save package. Now I'll go ahead. I'm going to delete this file. Okay, it's deleted. And I'm going to delete the CyberDeck app as well. So now this is a new machine without, we have to consider that, CyberDeck was never installed. So we have a package. I'm going to install it. CyberDeck.package, it's a recent package. Yes, so I'm launching it, installing it. Okay, installed it. If you see this file might have been created. You see that, right? The file got created. I removed it, but it got created. And I read that file before I even launch the app. Oh, sorry. Okay. Oh, okay. See here. I did a mistake. So I added the both twice. So it has created that key inside. I'm going to delete it. I'm going to remove. The no file or directory. There's a package. Okay. I'm going to install it now. Okay, so it created a file now. I'm going to see defaultly. So you see that now, right? Before even the app is launched, the file got created and you have update check equal to false. So now I'm going to launch the app. Okay, open. We should have put XATTR. We can use an XATTR here. That'll be fun later. Okay, the app is launched. And I'm going to settings. I go to the update. You see this, right? By default, it comes with the disable. So this is how you manipulate all the preferences. So for example, like you feel like you do not want to save the workspace. So now this will have changed completely. So I just check save workspace. So you will need to find out which is the option for disabling it. So that is how you do it. And most of the apps will have their files in the preferences. So if you go into my system, I have a lot of apps. You can see first will be Apple, Adobe, and Composer, these things. Okay. So this is how we do a basic packaging using Composer. Guys, it's already 1.5 hours. I mean, 1 hour 45 minutes. I know no one can listen more than this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop this session. I'm going to just show you 2 more slides which have some information, and this will be anyway shared. I'll see if we can have a follow-up session on doing packages, might be like more demo level where we can use all the tools available, and then also with the packages tool, and take few applications and really package applications like Adobe or something like that. Okay. And now I'm going to okay. So these are all the references. So I wanted to really show this. So I don't know how many of you guys are following these websites. Scripting OS X from Armin is really a very he's like a core Mac admin. Is currently working for Jamf, and he has written a book called Packaging for Apple Administrators. Actually, I referred this book a lot, and he has a few other books as well. But that book is not it's Apple books, but it's not available in India. So even I bought it through USID. But you can refer this book, and you can always go to the macadmins.org, which is MacAdmins Foundation, and they are the people who run the MacAdmin Slack. And you have a separate channel for packaging scripts. You can really look into it, and you have some references like Jeff best practices for macOS application packaging, and then you have some Apple articles also on it. And there is a blog by Kanji recently on packages, and then this is where the packaging tools I was talking about. So anyway, I'll share this. You guys will can go to these references. And yeah, I think I'm closing this session today. I know we are late, but thank you everyone for joining. Guys, any questions or any feedbacks or anything you guys want me to do next, you're always welcome.